I'm Jeff Klein, and this is Walk the Way TV. About 26 years ago, I was a youth pastor, and I took my youth group to a camp called the Colorado Challenge. The idea was to challenge the kids emotionally, physically, and spiritually with some extreme outdoor activities. Now, I pride myself on being a good athlete, and in sports, I'm usually fearless. I was a college hockey player, and I got my fair share of scuffles with guys bigger than me, and I usually won. So at this camp, when it was time to head to the rappelling hill, I was pumped. Rappelling is a sport where you tie yourself to a tree with a large climbing rope, then you back over a cliff and lower yourself down. Coming to the edge of a 60-foot cliff is sobering. It's really high. When my turn came to rappel, I thought I'd be excited. I wasn't. I was frozen with fear. The instructor tried telling me it was one of the safest sports in the world. I had just watched a bunch of other people reach the bottom in one piece. It didn't matter. All I could think about was my imminent demise. I seriously wanted to run away, but instead, with shouts of encouragement from my friends, "Klein, don't be a wuss! We thought you were a man, Klein!" I strapped in and went over the edge. In rappelling, you have to trust the rope. You have to lean back with your feet on the rock in front of you and hang your butt over the cliff. It sounds easy, but the first time, it's anything but. I'd love to tell you I was the exception, that I flew down the cliff with ease. Nope, I almost pooped my pants. And I froze, right there over the cliff, just dangling. That's when my good friend stepped in. Rife was terrible at hockey and couldn't hit a baseball, but was an expert at rappelling. He walked over to me and said, "Jeff, it's okay to be afraid. Everyone's afraid. Just don't let fear keep you from doing stuff, especially the stuff you know you need to do." That got my attention. Fear could paralyze me if I let it. Not just here, but in every area of my life. I had to get over this cliff and conquer my fear. Have you ever noticed in the Bible how many times Jesus tells people not to be afraid? It seems like those are almost always the first words out of his mouth. Fear not. And it's usually followed by some kind of promise like, "I will be with you." So somehow, Jesus thinks because he is with us, we should not fear. We should choose to trust instead. When people in the Western world talk about believing in something, we usually mean that our minds think it's a good idea. Logically, we consider it truth. The Hebrews had a richer, deeper understanding of belief, one that moved from the head to the soul, from a mere thought into an emotional and personal trust based on experience. They called it emunah. I don't know about you, but I've experienced a number of situations in my life where my butt is hanging over the cliff and it seems like death or at least great failure is imminent. That's when I have a choice. Either I embrace my fear or I turn to God and lean on him, trust him, emunah him. And when I do, it seems like God uses me in mighty ways. Carmen Bateta was working in a convent as a young 17-year-old girl. She was studying to be a nun. Her job most days was simple: stay by the door of the convent and answer it. Then one day, an old grandmother came to the door with two young girls. She came begging Carmen to take them in. She told Carmen the girls were in great danger. They were orphans and were being abused by their brothers. They had no one to give them proper care. When Carmen approached the head mother of the convent, she was told they didn't take children in. Carmen delivered the message to the old woman and sent her on her way. But as she sat by the door of the convent the rest of the day, she was haunted by those two young girls. How could the church turn them away? Would Jesus ever turn away children in need? She knew what she had to do. So with no money and no job, Carmen quit the convent. She picked up those two girls and never looked back. Carmen chose to hang her butt over the cliff and emunah the Lord in order to join him in pushing back the chaos and bringing wholeness and peace. And because she didn't turn back, over 200 children without parents now live in a loving home. Was it worth it? Mommy Carmen says her rewards are immeasurable. I think those kids would agree. Are you letting fear stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing? Maybe it's time to hang your butt over a cliff and trust God so that he can use you in a mighty way. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you subscribe for new videos every week. If you have something to say, comment below in the box or email me at jeff@walktheway.net.